Hello everyone. Today we're making this lovely pendant with blue lace agate stone and the herringbone technique to secure it. Let's begin. Cut two wires 30 centimeters long, each of them, one in brass and one in copper. And we're going to put those two into the handheld vise and twist the one over the other. The two metal colors look good together. So now I'm using the brass, the gold color, as the base wire, and I'm wrapping the copper around and over it in a long twisty shape towards the end, 13 centimeters from the beginning. Then you can trim that brass wire if it's too long and turn back and wind the copper wire backwards to the beginning. This makes a nice pattern in itself because the wire going backwards makes a nice little crisscross as it goes. Keep it quite neat, but no need to stress about it. It all looks good in the end. I like the look of the brass over the copper. It's a nice contrast in color. So here you are back at the beginning, and you're going to use one of the tails to join the circle together. But first of all, let's not forget to bend it. Using your fingers to make the circle, or you can wind it around something if you want to, and just keep bending gently until you form that nice circular shape. And then you're going to use one of the tails to wrap it across to the other side and to join the two ends together. Quite easy, isn't it? Using the copper tail to join makes it all fit in with the twist. So that's what I've done. I've just taken one of the short little tails, wrapped it around nice and securely, finish it off nicely so that there are no little snaggy bits and it fits in with the pattern of the twist. I have had so many ideas lately about making circular pendants, and I have lots and lots of ideas of what to make, and I've been sketching madly. I have books full of ideas. I don't know about you, but this is what I do. And even combining a few ideas together. So I think there are going to be a lot more of those in future. So bear with me. We now have our circle, and I'm going to show you how to do the herringbone technique. It's one of my favorites. I have cut 65 centimeters of 0.4 millimeter copper wire, and I've doubled it over to make a twisted wire because I think the texture will look a lot more interesting around the stone than just a single little strand of wire. I like the twists and they have little facets of light to them. You can twist by hand, but I have used my cordless drill and made a very short work of this. And the twist, you can make it as loose or as tight as you like with a drill. Now cut a separate piece of wire 9 centimeters long and thread your blue lace agate bead onto this wire to the middle. And then taking that long twisted piece of wire that you have just made, I take the loop and put it over the wire and slide it down to fit snugly against the bead. So now your long piece of twisted wire is on the one side of the bead, and you're going to take the wire across behind the 9 centimeter length of wire that the bead is through and wrap it round twice. It goes around the shoulders and to the other side. So it's wrap, wrap, and back to the other side of the bead. Now you take that wire down to the other side, across your bead to where you began, wrap it around the shoulders twice, and always either to the back of the wire or to the front. Don't alternate because you'll have a slightly off pattern. It'll be a little bit raised in different parts. So stick to one method, wrapping behind, round twice, down to the end of the bead, wrap around that end twice, back to the other side, and not too tight either. By not wrapping too tightly, you will make a fan shape. If you do it tightly, it'll fit around the bead. So I like the fan. And now I take my flat nose pliers and just flatten out gently to make sure that all the wires are lining up in a nice fan around the stone. You can see how this method builds up into a really pretty shape. I find winding herringbone technique really very meditational. I don't stress about it. I just wrap, keep my fingers on the middle so that it's all held securely as you do it, and not too tightly. I have made so many pendants with this herringbone design, and I've made earrings and dozens of bracelets as well. And it's always a very popular style. If you're selling your jewelry, you cannot go wrong with this technique. And with a number of stones or wires, there's a lot of variety that you can add to this design. It's building up nicely, and I love the way this twisted wire looks. It adds all sorts of textures as well. This is looking very nice, and the twisted wires add a lovely sparkle to it. Now you're going to fit that wire across your circle. Just align it, move it around a little bit to get it in the right place. I have added another blue lace bead, slightly smaller, above the herringbone, just to add a little bit more color. And then you're going to take that bottom tail, fit it in the circle, use the bottom tail to curl underneath and to secure the end of the herringbone. Make sure that your herringbone is nicely centered. You take a little bit of time to make sure it looks good before you secure that bottom. This brass wire is a beast of a thing, but I do love the look of it. But I do have to use my stronger pliers when I work with it because it just does not want to bend. Even when I've annealed it, it's still not that great. You can see me struggling a little bit with those very dainty little pliers of mine before I switch over to the stronger ones. They do the job, don't they? I like the look of the circular shape framework and then the herringbone pattern which goes through the middle of it. And I know that the outer frame could have been done in a number of ways. We could have made a weave, we could have coiled, lots and lots of ideas. But I do like this slightly haphazard way of doing a twist as well. After this, we are going to secure the top of the herringbone section to the top of your circle. And I have just taken one of the little tails that are there and looped it around and tightened it up so that it all fits in. Trim any tails if you need to, and I have taken the longest one and I have curled it into a nice loop on the one side. And I'm going to add to that design and make it pretty. After that, you're going to take that long tail, bend it over in more than in about a third, leaving a longer tail at the end, and bend it over, make a nice shape. I've crimped it in a little bit to make a nice, pretty little loopy shape, and then I bring the rest of the tail down and up again to finish off the bail. So it has quite a little clover shape to it. So curling your brass wire into nice shapes. Again, I'm using my strong pliers because the little dainty ones, they just don't cope with this wire. And I want to keep this veil quite simple. I don't like to over embellish and take away from the main feature, which is the herringbone in the middle. We could have had a woven veil or something a bit more elaborate, but I like to keep it simple. And I've bent the top loop sideways so that it's a bail. I don't want to put another jump ring on that. I found a pretty chain that goes with this pendant, and I just love the look of it. It is gorgeous. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more of our free tutorials, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.